Hi, it's Donna here from Clever Crafting. Thank you for joining me today. So today we are making the second last card in our African Adventure Card Makers Kit. And this one is titled a freestanding concertina card. So you can see that when it's out, it gives you a lovely 3D effect, yet it goes totally flat to go into our envelope that we've also decorated to coordinate with our card. So let's put that aside and let's get started. So we are going to start with a card that's 19.5 centimeters wide by 14.8 centimeters tall. So now I'm putting the long edge onto the top of my scoring board, and on the long edge I'm going to score at 1.5 centimeters, at 3 centimeters, at 4.5 centimeters, at 6 centimeters. Now, my score buddy is in centimeters and it doesn't have 7.5 because it's metric. So I moved it up a little bit to line it up to do it at 7.5 and then again at 9 centimeters. All right, we can pop our scoreboard away. We're just going to grab our bone folder and we're going to concertina these score lines. So I did the first one as a mountain fold and then a valley fold, then a mountain fold and a valley fold, yada yada, right until we get to the end. So I've sped this up a little bit more than all of the rest of it, so it doesn't take too long to go through. All right, so there it is, and it stands. How lovely is that? Okay, so now we're going to start putting our pieces together. Now you'll need 3 of these strips and they're 14.3 centimeters wide by 1.2 centimeters tall, depending on how you look at it. This one is 14 centimeters by 0.9 of a centimeter. I'm just going to grab some of my Smart Art glue and I'm going to pop it on the back of a pattern piece of paper and then stick it on the thin black strip. So all we're really doing is layering all of these because it adds a real lovely effect and depth to our card. So I've put that one on there. The next piece that I'm going to do all 3 of those, not going to make you watch them, but we'll start with the next one. We've got a 10 centimeter piece by 6 centimeters. That's in white. Then a 9.5 centimeters by 5.5 centimeters that we're doing in black. And then the 9 centimeter by 5 centimeter that we're doing with our pattern paper. And as I mentioned earlier, all we're doing is layering all of these, just using my glue to stick them all together. So this little bundle, I've got 10 centimeters by 4.5 centimeters, then 9.5 centimeters by 4 centimeters, and then 9 centimeters by 3.5 centimeters. And we're going to glue all of those together. So we did white on these because we're adding those to the cut, to actually sticking that whole piece to the card. But the other pieces that I already did and this piece here are going directly onto the card base, so we don't need the white. So that piece is 14.3 by 10 and this pattern paper is 13.8 by 9.5, and those 2 sizes actually match our nesting metric rectangle sets that are available for sale. All right, so now we're using the stencil that actually comes in the kit. So this is actually a stencil and mask, so you can use this to create a really nice globe. We, however, this time are just adding a little bit of Africa onto the inside back piece of our card. I'm using weathered wood distress oxide. You could use any color. I understand that a grey blue is an interesting color to choose for a landmass. However, in this case, that goes beautifully with the paper. So I just decided to run with it. And, it's a card. Everyone knows that that's not really Africa. It's a bit small anyway. So I'm just holding that stencil. Oh, by the way, on the back of my stencils, I spray a repositionable, I beg your pardon, adhesive. So it makes it nice and easy to use. All right, so now that I've got my little Africa up there, I'm going to adhere this piece, as I said, to the inside back of the card. And then I think I'm going to put my long strips down. Now my long strips all go every second one of those folds. So on the mountain edge side of the folds. So it's something that we can see. So you'll see in a minute, I think I lay it out so you can see. I don't make you watch me stick all of these pieces on because that would be kind of boring. But there we go. I'm just sticking the last one. You can see I've got it on one, missed one, got it on one, missed one, got it on one, missed one. So that's on the mountain side of all of those folds, and when it stands up, you'll just see them. So now this is the smaller of the 2 flaps. You could put the smaller one at the front if you want to, but I like to put it in the middle so it's kind of like a little hidden surprise. And I'm lining it up so the white edge is against the black layer nearest the fold. So, and I stand up my card to make sure that it is even at the base, because we will use this as extra stability for our card as well for standing. So you can see that that card doesn't go right to the edge of the base of the card. We don't want it to go right to the edge because we don't want it to, be a little bit wider or whatever. So a little bit narrower is much better at staying within the perimeter of the card. So now I'm putting the larger of those two pieces on the front, doing it the same way, standing it up so it's lined up at the bottom, and look, that sits beautifully. We're going to make a little round scene here. I'm using the Distress Oxide spiced marmalade and mustard seed. So this is an 8 by 8 piece of scrap card, whatever size is fine. I'm going to cut my son about 7 centimeters, so this is good. And you can see that all I'm doing with my yellow, with my mustard seed, is I started in the center and I'm just going round and round. This does not have to be perfect, because when we cut it, it's going to look perfect. So don't stress too much about this. Don't spend too much time thinking that you need to get the most perfect blend, because you don't. You watch, I get a big blotch on this in a second, and it really doesn't matter. Oh, look at that. And it slipped. So then I decided to go a little bit better. But honestly, there's no need to worry about this, because this is still going to give us the most beautiful effect. What I do like to do is, once I've gone in with the orange, the spice marmalade around the outside, is I do like to go back with my mustard seed and just go over it all, and it just smooths out that transition between the yellow and the orange. Okay, so while I've got my silicone mat out and my brushes out, I'm just going to use some vintage photo to go around the outer edge of my ephemera. Now, I know that we've done this in an earlier video, in one of the earlier cards for this. This is such a great way to make those white edges of the ephemera kind of disappear, really, without having to fussy cut it. If, however, you like to fussy cut it, knock yourselves out and fussy cut all of the edges. That's for you, Mel, that whole fussy cutting thing. All right, now I'm going to stamp my scene on my little square here. We haven't cut the circle yet. We're going to cut it once it's all done. And I think I decided to go with the giraffes. Oh, no, I went with the cats. Okay, I've gone with the lionesses. I'm going to use some VersaFine Black Onyx ink. I really like this pigment ink. It gives you a beautiful crisp image, and it's very, very black. So I don't think I kept it on camera, but I did in actual fact stamp that twice to make sure it had nice deep color. And I put it so the animals were kind of just below the center of the sun. Now, this is literally a scrap piece of black cardstock. I love using up my scraps. And I'm just popping some glue. I'm going to stick it at the bottom of my sun, because I do want, well, I'm calling it a sun, but really it's just a circular scene piece. All right, I'm going to line up my circle. As I said, I think this one's about maybe 6.5, 7 centimeters wide. And now we can put our whole card together. So you can see I've got a giraffe and an elephant and a lion. So typical African animals. All of these, of course, are the ephemera in the kit. I'm going to pop some glue on the back of my giraffe and position him into place. I don't make you watch all of that. Then I'm going to do the same with the elephant, and we're going to stick him down. And then, all right, I'm going to position my colored circular piece in here, which really stands out because all of the rest of it is those neutral tones, and having that beautiful bright orange in there, look, it doesn't it just really stand out. It looks amazing. All right, glue on the back of the lion. Now, I do add a greeting. You can see I've added there, but I missed filming that. Sorry about that. But that's just one of the stickers that came in the kit. And it says be fearless, and I've popped it on that circular piece. So now to the envelope. I've left this in so I can show you what I did this, and I'm layering all of my stencils. So in the kit we got the round stencil, and I didn't use it for the sun and the earlier piece because I didn't need to, but I am using it here. And then I'm using the mask of the Africa, and I've put the mask down first, and now I'm going to do my sun colors exactly the same way as I did them earlier. I'm starting with the yellow, and then I did the orange around the outside. I cut that bit out because you've seen it all before. I've removed my mask, and now I'm putting the stencil piece back on, and I've gone with my weathered wood again, I beg your pardon, to coordinate with the card. And I'm using my weather wood for Africa, a little bit of the continent there, well, African continent. How lovely is that? I've left my stencil in place because I'm using that as a mask to stamp this. Now, my video did run out here, so you didn't see me, but when you're doing that, when you're stamping over the stencil, you've got to push really hard in the corners to make sure that you get it out as far as possible. I think I might have even used a little pen to fill in some of the blanks. So here are the card and the envelope that we have made today. I really hope you've learned something and enjoyed the video. If you have, please give me a thumbs up because that really does help our little channel. Until next time, please stay safe and happy crafting.